Satele Shan was a human female born nearly 4,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. She was a natural talent with the Force, coming from a long line of successful Jedi Masters. She was originally apprenticed to Master Zhou, but later studied under Kaosen Darach. At age 18, she and her master dueled the Sith duo of Lord Vindican and Darth Malgus. She was forced to retreat when the Sith successfully retook the world of Korriban and killed Darach, but she later took her revenge on Malgus in the Battle of Alderaan. She held the title of Grandmaster over the Jedi Order, and led them all through the worst parts of the Great War, but her ultimate fate after the defeat of Darth Vitiate is unknown. Anakin Skywalker was a human male born 41 years before the Battle of Yavin. Anakin was a virgin birth, created by the Force in response to the abominable experiments of life and death being performed by Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious. He was born into human trafficking, and was scarred early by the horrors of slavery on Tatooine. At the age of 9, he was freed by Master Qui-Gon Jinn and trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi. After about a decade in the Order, Anakin was thrown into the Clone Wars and became a general, leading the most successful flank in the military, the 501st Legion. At the end of the war, Anakin became disillusioned to the Jedi Order and joined the Sith under the name Darth Vader. Vader ended the Clone Wars by destroying the Jedi Temple and killing the leaders of the Confederacy. He was then challenged by his former master Kenobi and brought down, losing his limbs and being burned alive by Mustafar's lava lakes. For this battle, I will be using Vader as he appeared at the end of Revenge of the Sith, and primarily draw from his abilities after the slaying of Count Dooku to Order 66 and the Mustafar battle, with everything from the Clone Wars as simply a supplement for his capabilities. As for Shan, I could examine her at the tail end of the war before she disappeared, but Shan herself admitted that she was somewhat weakened at this stage, so to make things more interesting, I'll analyze her in the prime of her life. Satele Shan is 32 years old at the time of the conflict on Alderaan and made full use of her physical prime. Her power on the battlefield was impressive, taking down several fully armored Sith warriors with just her bare hands and feet, rather than her lightsaber. She was also strong enough to go for a blade lock with Malgus, though she still needed a moment to recompose herself immediately after. She was incredibly fast and agile, aiming for a fast assault to overwhelm opponents and using a lot of agility to get around their counters. Darth Vader was 23 years old, and had been forged into a weapon of war during his time as a general. Even as a Padawan, Skywalker was noted to have the speed and reflexes of a Jedi Master, and was strong enough to break through Asajj Ventress's defenses by hammering her into submission. His endurance and durability were also worth noting, having lasted an upwards of 20 minutes dueling with Kenobi, and then surviving being burned alive. I don't want to underplay this feat either. Vader is receiving third-degree burns all over his body from molten lava, is missing all of his limbs, and he still survives long enough for Palpatine to find him. Shan is impressive and will put up an excellent fight, but I do favor Vader in a physical bout. He's faster, stronger, more durable, and far more resilient. Physical edge goes to Darth Vader. Satele Shan was incredibly gifted with the Force. She was the legacy of Revan and Bastila Shan after all. When pushed on her back foot, Shan was capable of bringing a massive tree down on Malgus through telekinesis. She was also an advanced user of Tutaminis, the art of absorbing energy, and was able to catch a lightsaber with her bare hands. Her forced pushes and waves were also excellent, being able to break through Malgus's defenses and send him stumbling backwards. Immediately after this, she sent out a blast of concentrated force energy that sent Malgus into a cliffside and caused an avalanche heavy enough to permanently damage his lungs and heart. While I'm not sure if she could pull these feats off normally, and I'm certain that adrenaline had something to do with it, the fact that she could pull it off at all was a testament to her strength in the Force. Vader was born with the highest connection to the Force of any being who ever lived, and used that strength for all it was worth. While Anakin Skywalker used it more like a blunt instrument and a second thought to enhance his physical abilities, the rush of the dark side Vader felt in the Jedi Purge encouraged him to use it much more freely in combat. While battling Sindralig's apprentice, Sarah Cato, Vader ended the battle by pulling down a temple pillar and crushing her to death. He also quickly ended Jocasta Nu by pulling her close telekinetically and impaling her on his blade, though she was later retconned to have survived. He was of course already known for Force strangulation even before his turn to the dark side, quickly turning anyone's windpipe to nothingness. And he may or may not have been good with Force cloak, or at the very least, clouding another person's Force sensitivity. Okay, here's the thing. According to StarWars.com, Shaak Ti's official death is this scene.
What is it, Skywalker?
This is honestly one of the dumbest things in Star Wars history. If I ever do a video with Shaak Ti, I have full intention to talk about this. But the only way that I can conceivably understand why this would occur is if maybe Vader was clouding her judgment through the Force so that she could not sense all the carnage happening right outside of her door. Sorry, getting off track. Vader did have one weakness, and this was his struggle with telepathy. He couldn't get probe minds as easily as his future self, or even his sons and grandsons. Still, if you underestimated him, you were most likely dead. The question is, why would you underestimate him in the first place? This is Darth Vader. This is the closest round in my opinion. If it were a head-on assault, Vader has done everything Shan has and better. But she also has more variety in her capabilities, and could certainly catch him off guard if she can apply her saber catch. In the end, I still side with Vader though. His feats of power, as previously mentioned, outdo her, and he is certainly more likely to break through her attacks with his sheer resolve and hit back harder than vice versa. Edge goes to Darth Vader. Satele Shan's fighting style is not confirmed in any source. It's generally accepted that she was a user of Ataru, which lines up with her agility and emphasis on hand-to-hand combat. While they agree there is clearly an influence of Ataru, I'd also like to suggest that she paired this off with Shi Cho, considering that much of her experience came from open battlefields fighting large groups of opponents. Her experience is limited in one-on-one combat, but she does have some notable feats. She was able to hold out against Malgus, Darth Mekis, and Darth Barriss, though she did lose to Malgus, and the other two never had a decisive winner. This brings me to my more controversial take, but Shan is a little bit overhyped in my opinion. Yes, she did hold her own against Darth Malgus, but this Darth Malgus is not the same as this Darth Malgus. Even if you want to scale her to Malgus at his peak, Malgus at his most experienced was shown as being relatively close in ability to Venzalo, who is maybe on the level of someone like Qui-Gon Jinn or Asajj Ventress as a swordsman. By this point, most people are aware of Vader's chosen styles, an altered form of Gemso blended with an altered Ataru footwork, with a little bit of Nyman for exercise. But what most people don't know is that according to Nick Gillard, the choreographer of the prequel era, Anakin at this time was a tier 9 duelist, comparable to Mace Windu and just under Darth Sidious and Yoda as a swordsman. Some may scoff, but this lines up with his performance throughout the film. He beats Count Dooku through technical skill rather than brute force, regardless of what others will tell you about him just powering through the Count's frail defenses. He and the 501st killed hundreds of Jedi during the Purge, but most notably, Vader was able to overcome Battlemaster Sin Draleg. Draleg was an acclaimed master of all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, yet Vader finished him off within a few minutes. You might be wondering, if Vader was so skilled, why did he lose to the canonically Tier 8 swordsman Obi-Wan? Well, there are a few factors at play here. Obi-Wan himself has admitted that on a good day, his apprentice is the better duelist. This particular day, Vader is completely blinded by his pure, unadulterated rage at the supposed betrayal of his wife and best friend. Hardly in the best condition to fight at complete power. But even in the actual fight, you can see it leaning more towards Vader than it does Kenobi. Obi-Wan, though able to go toe-to-toe with the Dark Lord in an incredibly close and ferocious match, achieved victory through cunning rather than superior skill. I'm not gonna act like Vader is steamrolling or curb stomping or anything. Shan is going to put up a good fight. I just don't see her being able to contend long enough to give her a decisive win. Anakin has more experience, more variety, better tactics, and is just a superior swordsman no matter how you slice it. Edge goes to Darth Vader. The advantage to the victor goes 9-10. Not a complete curb stomp, but a very comfortable win. I could see this battle as starting out like Shan's battle with Malgus, but ending like Vader's battle with Ventress. Satele, of course, begins wailing on Vader to end it quickly. Vader, like Malgus, will respond in kind and quickly slice her saber staff in 2. Again, just like before, Satele will immediately draw on her Force abilities and try to overwhelm the Dark Lord with her own power. But unlike her previous opponent, Vader will again respond in kind, weathering out the assault and breaking through her defenses. Vader grabs her telekinetically, strangles her, and then brings her close for a decapitation. I declare Pre-Suit Vader, the fallen Jedi, the victor.